Well, welcome back to my channel, everybody. Chris Gault here, Healthy Living with Chris Gault, and we are on week 16 now of our new plant-based vegan lifestyle. So stay tuned. All right, before we get into the week of our new plant-based vegan lifestyle, I just want to say that I just want to make sure everyone knows when they're watching this that I'm not judging anyone for what type of diet or how they want to choose to live their life, as long as it's it's not illegal, right? So I just wanted to say that. And also I wanted to say, people get into this whole thing about veganism, and to be a pure vegan, you obviously don't use any animal products like honey or any animal products out there that may be tested on animals or come from animals or exploit animals in any way. I just want to say, it's very difficult to live 100%. And I know, you could try to be 100% vegan, but I think it's very difficult to get there, especially if you take medicine, because medicine's probably tested on animals, and there's probably very few medicines out there that aren't. So you need to pick your way of going in this, and I don't think there's really a wrong way. I'm choosing to be as vegan as possible. I'm not a big fan of leather shoes or leather couch. We actually used to have a leather couch. Now we have a fabric couch. I try my best to get things like from Tom's. I get the toothpaste and the soap, and they don't test on animals. But I know when I get a headache and I pop that aspirin in, it probably was tested on animals, more than likely. But I do my best, and I'm not going to beat myself up for it. And I would say that for anybody, even if you're like, let's say you want to be plant-based or vegan for the week, let's say plant-based, so you want to not eat animal products for the week, but on the weekend you want to cheat. That's still doing an awful lot in slowing down hurting animals and exploitation of them. It's not 100%, obviously, but it is helping more than if you're eating meat every day. So all I'm saying is, do the best you can if you want to go this route. Again, there's usually 3 reasons why people go vegan. One is for their own health, and there's a lot of studies now that show that actually being vegan actually is more healthy for you than consuming animal products, and I'm a 100% believer of that now, and that's why I don't see myself ever going back to eating animal products. And when I started this, I was just going to do it for a month, but then my blood test got delayed because of the whole coronavirus thing, and so I've been on it. I didn't want to get off of it before I did the blood test, and hopefully I'll get that blood test in the next week or so. But now that I've been on it, and I feel really great being on it, I'm going to stay on it, and I just feel great that I don't have all that saturated animal fat, coursing through my veins. So that part is very, very good for me. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, it's obviously better for the animals, and I've seen a lot of these documentaries now out there, and I didn't really realize how cruel the animal industry and the animal product industry could be. Even like a point, and I know everyone knows about it now, just about, but I didn't even think about it. But how you get milk, and I wasn't really a big milk drinker for years, so I haven't really had dairy for a long time. But I grew up with it, and it is tough to see, that. And I guess it really kind of hit me when Joaquin Phoenix accepted his Oscar award for his portrayal of the Joker, and he mentioned, what they do to a cow. A cow, basically, a female cow, basically, has probably an okay life until they force her to be pregnant, and then she has a baby, and there is a bond between those two animals, but that bond doesn't get to be fulfilled because the baby is ripped away from her. And then the baby lives a horrible life, very short, probably horrible life. And the mother basically gets put into a little box and is milked for the rest of her life, because if she stops lactating or stops being milked, then she'll stop lactating and she won't be able to give milk. So here's the milk that's really it's really kind of disgusting that humans drink milk, breast milk from another animal anyway, but it's really sad that, this milk was really made for this baby cow. And not only is the emotional, are they emotionally destroyed because they're pulled away from each other, but also, the milk that was meant for this cow is not going to that calf. So it's cruel in so many levels. It's not even funny. And then all the other things that go on with the slaughterhouses and everything else. So that's number two. That's reason number two. And so I feel better that I'm slowing that down and being vegan and trying to get all the animal products out of my life as best I can. And I just feel good that I'm helping the animals out in that way. And I'm hoping that the industry, that will also help to feed more people in the world too, if we actually move away from animal protein and we move to more plant-based foods for all the world. We can grow enough food for everybody, because it just takes an awful lot of food and water just to get to get the meat from the animal. So anyway, I feel good that I could be helping the world be better fed, and also helping the animals out by not being cruel to them, by not eating their protein. So anyway, I know I'm rambling there, but that's number two, is the cruelty of the animals. Number three is the environment, because it's 100% proven now that the environment is much better off without all these mass-produced farms out there. And I mean, and again, these farmers, I know there's a big industry out there and there's a lot of money in there, but these farmers, if they moved from the animal protein industry to growing plant-based food, they could still have jobs on farms. They'd just be doing something different. And the world would be much better off, because there's a lot less CO2 and methane gas that's emitted from the animals when they're contained like that. Not only from them defecating and peeing, but also from dying or the diseases that come out of them. So you end up with a much better, cleaner world as well when you get away from animal proteins, and you also move away from potential pandemics, which we know are very real now. I think everyone in the world knows now that pandemics can be real, and usually they're caused by some sort of animal. And we do know there is like the mad cow disease and all that kind of stuff that was out there. We do know that staying away from eating animal products is probably the best thing to do for the environment and for pandemics out there. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, though, that I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying, do your best. If you still feel you can't give up the meat, then obviously that's your choice. I'm not going to judge anybody. I know a lot of meat eaters. My whole family is meat eaters, and I was a meat eater up until just a little while ago, and I'm 59 years old. So I can't really judge people for what they do. All I ask, and I know I've asked this before, is do some research and find out what it is that's out there. So look at those documentaries that I've mentioned in the past. I started off with the Game Changers, but then there's What the Health, Cowspiracy, there's Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I mean, there's just a ton of movies out there that and documentaries out there that actually will help give you the knowledge that you could use in order to make great decisions on if you want to be go this route or not, plant-based or vegan or not. But at least you have knowledge, and you can say, okay, this is why I'm going to move this direction. It's what you don't want to do is sit there and not have any knowledge of what's going on. And I would also suggest, like I said in the past, there's a lot of Facebook. Not Facebook, I'm sorry. Oh, there are some Facebook groups out there, like there's like the 7 billion vegans. And there's a bunch, if you type in vegan in groups, you'll see a lot of vegan groups out there. But there's also a lot of great YouTube channels out there like Earthling Ed and Pick Up Limes and all sorts of, there's just a ton of them out there that I've mentioned in the past. And I would just recommend, going to those, to go on to YouTube, just type in vegan, you'll see them. And just listen to what they have to say, and you'll start to see, what's out there, what the knowledge is out there, what's really going on when you eat animal products. And then you can make the decision if you want to continue going that route or if you want to change it up a little bit. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. So let's get on with the show. On a previous video, I showed you some little baby ducks. These guys are growing up a little bit, getting a little bigger. So it's kind of cool to see them grow. And they don't seem to be that afraid of people. I think people just pretty much feed them. All right, so we're gonna make a black bean quinoa casserole. All right, first we're gonna start making some quinoa. So we're gonna cook up a cup of quinoa. So it's a cup of quinoa, and then we're gonna put in a cup and a half of this vegetable broth. Okay, we're going to bring this to a boil, and then it's going to take about, we're going to simmer it, and it's going to take about 15 minutes or so, it says, until all the liquid gets soaked up into the quinoa. All right, and you're cutting up some onions?
Yep, I'm dicing up an onion, and then we're going to get a red pepper, but we already had that diced up from the other night, so I'll grab that out of the refrigerator in a minute.
Sounds good. So we're going to saute the onions. So we're going to use our friend, the high heat avocado oil. So it's safe to cook at high heats, but we don't really cook it at that high anyway. Robin, it looks like you're smashing up some garlic there.
Yeah, getting the skins off so we can put it in there.
All right, getting ourselves some fresh garlic. All right, the onions are in the pan, and I'm starting to saute them. All right, so it looks like you're crushing some garlic in there.
Yeah.
All right, that's our garlic smasher. I'm not sure what the real title of that thing is, but I guess it's just a garlic smasher.
A garlic press.
A garlic press, that's what it's called. So you're pressing the garlic. And how many cloves are you throwing in?
4, because that's what we had.
So 4 cloves, that's what we had, and the amount of onion, was that just one?
Onion.
Yeah, it was 1 onion. Yep, there's nothing like the sound of onions sauteing on the stove with garlic. It smells good too. Now it says to throw in 1 red pepper. We actually already had this cut up because we use it for our salads, so it's about a cup. And they were out of red peppers at the grocery store, at least organic ones, so we had to get yellow pepper, so that's what this is. So we're substituting the red pepper for yellow pepper. If we did this again, we would probably do it with red pepper. All right, next the spices go in. We got chili powder. We got a tablespoon of chili powder. We got a tablespoon of, or a teaspoon of cumin and a teaspoon of oregano, and then some Himalayan sea salt over there. That's to taste, so you can put in this whatever you want. We usually don't throw in a ton of salt. So I'm going to add that to the peppers and onions. And then of course I'm going to mix that around. All right, the spices are evenly distributed. All right, so now we're adding 2 14.5-ounce cans of organic refried beans. So I'm getting the refried beans in here, and you can see it's getting mixed up with all the vegetables. And we're gonna let that heat up. And then what's gonna go in is a can of petite diced tomatoes. All right, the quinoa is cooked. We're gonna put that in. All right, so I'm just mixing in the quinoa now within all the other stuff that was in there. All right, so now we're going to put 3/4 of a cup of vegan cheese in. So you could obviously use whatever vegan cheese you like. And we're going to stir that in. All right, so then we're just going to top it with another 3/4 of a cup of the vegan cheese. That's what it looks like.
Now we're going to cover it with tin foil and put it in the oven for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
That one's a little heavy. The oven is at 350. It's preheated. So let's pop this in there. The oven's at 375. Sorry, I said 350, but it's at 375. And we're going to pop it in for 20 minutes. All right. Sounds good. Okay, the last thing you do now is you take the aluminum foil off. So I took the aluminum foil off, still in the oven. You put it in for another 10 minutes and then it's done. All right, that's the finished product. The cheese didn't really melt as much as I thought it would, but vegan cheese typically doesn't melt as much as you think it's supposed to. But anyway, still I think it's gonna taste good. I'll let you know. All right, so we're gonna give this baby a try. Let me get a little bit of the cheese. It's good. All right, as vegans, we talk a lot about animal rights, but I also want to talk a little bit about human rights, and we should all be for human rights. And we were privileged to have a peaceful protest go by our house recently, and obviously this is all about the death, the wrongful and horrible death of George Floyd, and more really about Black Lives Matter. And we all need to really make sure that we focus on this and make this a priority coming up. But you know, to me, you know, we do look at animal lives, but we also have to look at, you know, Black lives as well, and we just have to make sure that we do what we can in order so that everybody can have the best possible life that they can be. And that's what my channel has always been about, is living the best possible, being the best possible you that you can be. And that means accepting everyone for what they are and the individuality of people. So I just want to play a little bit of that footage that I have. I was up on my rooftop deck when I filmed it, and they actually stopped, and you'll see what they say. Protesters are right outside our door here. So this is literally right outside of my house. I hope it doesn't get crazy. But right now it looks like they're very peaceful protest right now. They're having a little kneel-in right outside our door here. A little unnerving, but so far it's peaceful. All right, week 16 is over. Week 17 is coming up. We actually did get our blood test set up, so we'll be doing that hopefully next week, and hopefully we'll have the results by then. If not in week 17, we should have the blood results in week 18. That way we can see how well this plant-based vegan diet has done for us physically. We just wanted to share that with you guys, since we shared with you a little bit of that earlier on in the vlogs. So I just wanted to, I know a lot of things are going on, and I showed you some of that, and I know people feel a little antsy with not only the pandemic, but also all the protests that are going on, and rightfully so protests. But what I wanted to do is just leave everybody with a little bit of a relaxing music and a little bit of relaxing scenery for about 5 minutes or so, just so you can sit back, relax a little bit. And I think it's important for all of us, all people, it doesn't matter if you're vegan or if you're whatever you are, you know, I think it's important for everyone to just take a breather once in a while and just relax and do nothing for 5 minutes and just clear that mind so that you feel much better. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play it right now and enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and remember to, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and click on the subscribe button. It really does mean the world to me, and also helps me deliver to you content every week so that you can be notified for it and see it. So anyway, here we go with the peaceful music. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up button, and also please subscribe and click on the notification button to get all this great content that's coming up every week. Thank you.